So I've seen a lot of videos where various guitar teachers are explaining why improvising or noodling inside of your sessions will ultimately hold you back from making progress with regards to playing the guitar. And in my opinion, these are such broad and generalized statements that they end up being really bad advice. So what I want to do and what I want to accomplish in this video is I want to explain why that statement is incorrect, and then I want to show you a quick practice technique that you can use to implement noodling or improvising so that it actually can enhance your playing. It can make you a better guitar player. So stay tuned because we're going to be breaking all of that down in this video right now. Here we go. All right, like I said, I'm going to start off by clarifying why I think this anti-noodling, anti-improvising inside of your session statement is incorrect. Then we'll move on to the practice exercise. But really simply put, any conversation I've had with any guitar player, no matter the level, so that could be beginner, day one guitar player, or advanced seasoned professional, I think no matter what, every player is ultimately trying to find their own creativity and express their individual creativity through this instrument. So I hope everyone can recognize that if you're never pushing to take your skills and figure out how to make them free-flowing so that in any given moment you can put down what's in your brain, you can lay it down on the guitar. So if you're never working on that skill, the skill of improvising, the skill of, quote, noodling, you'll never actually improve that skill. So what I'm about to show you is a way where you can structure improvising and noodling in such a way where it is going to help you out. So we're going to jump into that right now. So I will note before we jump in on this practice exercise that if you're never pushing yourself to acquire new skills and you are always coming to a guitar session and basically just taking the skills you already have and aimlessly using them in an unstructured environment, it's true that that approach will hinder your progress. Now, I can't say that it's going to be detrimental to your progress on a certain level, but it will hold you back a bit. So I just want to note that, and I'm hoping that maybe that's what a lot of these guitar teachers who, make videos that say like 5 things a guitar player should stay away from, I'm hoping that's what they mean. Now, as I said earlier with regards to this approach to improving your skills via noodling and improvising is that we want to have structure. So the best place to start is with simple scale shapes. So I'm going to show you 2 very simple scale shapes in G major, and when we flash the tabs, what I want you to do is go ahead and pause the screen so you can screenshot them and you can have them pulled up and ready to go as we move through the rest of this lesson. Now, one of the main things you probably noticed about these scale shapes is that they are small in size, right? The actual amount of notes we're playing isn't that many. They're each 1 octave. And remember, as I just said, we want to create structure. So having these smaller shapes in this context is actually quite advantageous. Now, the other thing you probably noted about those scale shapes is that they sound really rigid when played in that linear fashion that I used in the example. However, the next piece to this approach to improving your noodling capabilities, your improvising capabilities, and ultimately your skills on the guitar is that we're going to put on a really simple backing track, and I'm going to have that linked in one of these corners. Shout out to Tom Bailey. But we're going to put on a really simple backing track in G major, and then we'll just mess around with these shapes and the note configuration. So it might sound at first for a beginner level player as maybe a little bit more confused, just selecting notes at random and figuring out which ones sound best to you. And for a more intermediate guitar player, you might just be using these shapes to keep you in a specific place to enhance your creativity and potentially come up with some interesting melodies and maybe even some interesting lead lines. So we're going to jump into that right now and start messing around. I'll show you a few examples and then we'll be ready to wrap up. So now what I'm going to do is put on this backing track, and for those of you who are beginner players, This will just give you some insight into how to approach this type of practice with regards to noodling and improvising. And for those of you who are more intermediate, it might give you a little inspiration and show you how you can actually start enhancing your lead lines by creating some interesting confines for yourself. So let's go ahead and put on that backing track. And we have these How to Jam lessons, this How to Jam series, and I'll link that in one of these corners as well. And that gives you a little more insight into our approach to jamming and improvising on a deeper level. But basically you want to get familiar with the backing track. And as I've already noted, as we now know, we've got these two scale shapes to work with. And so we'll just try to figure out which notes we like over this backing track. So let's just, for the beginners, let's just choose one at random. And I'm going slowly, I'm in rhythm with the backing track, I'm just playing with the notes that we went over in those scale shapes. So now I'm playing with two notes, I can stay there. And now I'm playing with the pressure that I'm applying with those two notes, so you can keep it really simple. And now I'm only in this scale shape, and I can move up here to this one and do the same thing. Again, this would be maybe more of the beginner approach. I skipped a note. So I'm just going through the scale, but at a slower pace, just trying to stay in rhythm. That would be more of a beginner approach. And where you can go from there is skipping notes, trying to create your own melodies. And a more intermediate player honestly might just be trying to create some lines inside of these shapes. So, I'm just going to go off the cuff here, and it might not be my best, but that's part of what this drill would accentuate is, your individuality, your creativity, and it takes some time to get there from time to time, right, in different contexts. So let's just give it a try. So something like that. Again, the more time you experiment inside of these shapes, the more you'll get better, you'll get more comfortable, you'll recognize that in any solo scenario you have the opportunity to pause and keep things really tight, and that often lends itself or leads to the most melodic solos, the most melodic lead lines. So anyways, if you like this approach, you want to not only practice improvising but have some different techniques and different skills that you can apply to improvising, definitely subscribe to the channel for more easy guitar practice because we've got lots of lessons to help you get better at guitar. So anyways, I'll keep it there. Have a great time playing with this, and we'll see you next time.